Back now to breaking news out of Florida. Hurricane Debby making landfall as a Category 1 hurricane just within the last hour.
Yeah, and this storm is getting a lot of attention, even though it is just a Category 1 storm. So let's get right to CBS Mornings correspondent Tom Hansen. He is live in Crystal River, Florida. Tom, you were describing for us during the break that the rain has kind of stopped where y'all are, but what did you see this morning?
Yeah, you know, what we saw this morning was relentless rain, just sheets of rain battering this area. And now that has pretty much cleared out, at least for the time being. What we're seeing on the ground here, though, is the main concern, the standing water. So I want to take you guys down here just a little bit and show you just how much it's crept up in the last 90 minutes. Now, this is a wall that was not underwater when we started our live shots this morning, right around 6 o'clock. As I walk up here, though, you can see that it has basically submerged this entire area. Definitely enough water in this community to float cars. And so certainly of concern, people trying to get around this area. Now, up north is where the eye of the storm really slammed Florida. There were some mandatory evacuations in Franklin County, a couple places that are up north in the Gulf. People will be able to come back in as the storm clears out. And really the main concern at this point is where the storm is headed, which is South Carolina, Georgia, places like that, which are bracing for impact. The storm certainly going to pack a punch in those communities as well as we move throughout the day. Here back in Florida, we are really anticipating high tide, which is expected to come this afternoon. Guys?
Yeah, and that could certainly cause some bigger problems.
Right.
So folks definitely not letting their guard down yet. Tom Hansen, thank you for that live report from Crystal River, Florida. And you can see much more from Tom during CBS Mornings. That's coming up right at 7 o'clock.
We're going to turn our attention back to the weather now. Tropical Storm Debby on a menacing journey through the southeast. It has already produced record-setting rain up to 30 inches and is responsible for 5 deaths. That storm bringing prolonged downpours, gusty winds, and the potential for severe flooding. Flash flood warnings, in fact, issued all along the coast, including in Savannah, Georgia. Life-threatening conditions as the storm barrels through. ABC's Samara Theodore in Savannah this afternoon.
Hi, Sandra, David. Yes, so flooding here has been a real big problem, especially some isolated areas causing roads to be shut down. And we also saw this in Florida yesterday. And it wasn't just here, but north of here in North Carolina, they picked up upwards of 8 inches of rain so far.
Relentless rain, high winds, and life-threatening storm surge pummeling the southeast as Debby swirls through the region. At least 5 people killed, including 2 children. A 13-year-old boy died after a tree fell onto this mobile home in Florida. Streets flooded in Brunswick, Georgia. More than 10 inches of rain estimated to have fallen already just north of Savannah.
In the best case scenario, we're going to get another 4 to 5 inches of rain on top of what we already had. The worst case scenario, we may have another up to 8 inches of rain. So unfortunately, I don't believe the storm is done with us yet. 9 tornadoes reported in Florida and South Carolina over the last 2 days.
We had absolutely no time to react. It was right on us. All we had time to do was just kind of look at each other and say, run.
Debby made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in the Big Bend of Florida's Gulf Coast Monday morning, dropping more than 16 inches of rain near Sarasota. Curtis Silver and his family running to the top floor of their home as water rushed in.
The water wasn't just coming in through the front door. It was coming up through the floorboards. It was coming in through the walls to the outside.
In Horseshoe Beach, near the eye wall, strong winds tearing up trees. In Charleston, South Carolina, the mayor saying pumps have been brought in and are ready, as well as high water rescue vehicles. The city is extremely vulnerable to flooding.
After a little dry period, rain beginning to fall again here in Savannah. And over the next 48 hours, Debby is anticipated to churn right off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, potentially leading to more historic flooding. Samara Theodore, ABC, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you. Tropical Storm Debby is here, and it looks like she is wearing out her welcome.
Debby's 2-day deluge on South Carolina and Georgia is adding up. Charleston is one of several cities that's received nearly a foot of rain as more keeps falling.
Anticipate another 3 to 6 inches over the next 12 to 14 hours.
Charleston's mayor says a curfew is working, keeping people off the streets. He's now extending it through early Wednesday morning.
We especially don't need any yahoos driving through the water and causing damage to property.
Overnight, a suspected tornado swept through nearby Monk's Corner, upending vehicles and destroying a number of buildings. 2 other twisters were confirmed Monday night southwest of Charleston in Edisto Beach and Seabrook.
Unfortunately, I don't believe the storm is done with us yet.
Georgia's governor on Tuesday warning residents to stay hunkered down and prepare for more possible property damage.
Both models are showing that rain will come back, potentially in the worst case scenario in a big way.
Nearly 2,000 National Guard troops have been mobilized for search and rescue efforts. In Florida, about 500 people were safely moved to higher ground around Sarasota, and water rescues continue in parts of the state this hour. Bracing for Debbie's heavy rains next, the Northeast, which could see several inches over the weekend. In Charleston, I'm Brian Abel reporting.
I'm here inside a home in downtown Savannah. You can see some of the damage that a tree did to the roof of their house. Fiberglass all over the floor, couches destroyed. This is the home of a single mom with 4 children. She's asking for help for her and her family as the storm ravaged this community.
What do I do? What's my next step? I only know how to be strong.
At 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, Shakina Conyers and her 4 kids woke up to this. A tree coming through the roof of their home.
I thought maybe Debbie was outside. I don't know, it just was real scary, and I jumped up, and first thing I did was check on my kids to make sure they was okay.
Shakina calling the fire department for help. After they came, she decided to keep her family inside the house through the end of the storm.
I don't know what to tell my kids moving forward. Like, I don't know.
But even in the crisis, she's thankful no one in her home was hurt. Reporting in Savannah, Lydia Blackstone.